Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making orange and white pumpkin cookies. Sort of like a riff on the black and whites, but with orange and white. Perfect for Halloween or any fall harvesty theme that you want to make a cookie for. Soft and cakey. So here we go. We are going to make a typical creaming method of mixing cake, but we're going to bake it as a cookie. So in my electric mixer, I'm going to make sure I get this right because there's a lot of ingredients and a lot of spices. 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. And then I'm going to put 2.5 sticks of unsalted butter. And I am going to cream that until it's light and fluffy. In the meantime, all right, in my bowl to get my dry ingredients ready and ready to go, sort of like my mise en place, 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to add the following spices, and there's a slew of them because it's so spicy and good. So I have 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1.5 teaspoons of ground ginger, which is yummy and sort of spicy, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of ground allspice, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a teaspoon of baking soda. That's going to make them nice and cakey. And then I have 3/4 teaspoon of table salt, regular salt, not kosher salt. All right, we're going to put that in with the flour. And I'm watching my butter and my sugar looking beautiful, getting my chemical leaveners in there. And I'm going to whisk this up. So we're just getting this ready to go because you know how the creaming method of mixing goes, right? Sugar and your butter till it's light and fluffy. And then we're going to add 4 eggs one at a time. So once I get that ready to go, done, ready. So it's ready in its spot. Now I'm going to get my liquid ingredients ready because we're going to alternate once we get our eggs in. So I'm going to start putting 4 eggs one at a time, but I'm just going to start doing that now. Okay, my butter turned sort of light white. And now for my liquid ingredients, I'm just going to get that incorporated. I have 3 tablespoons of beautiful dark molasses. I'm going to put that in here. And I'm putting it in here because I want to get all my liquid ingredients together. I have 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Remember, the buttermilk is an acid. It's going to react with our baking soda. Give it a little puff. Make it nice and cakey. 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. Yum. And then the piece de resistance, 1 1/4 cups of pure pumpkin. Don't use pumpkin pie mix. You know, the canned stuff that has some other stuff added to it, you want pure pumpkin. Make sure it says pure. All right, I'm going to add another egg to my sugar and my butter and my 1 egg so it doesn't get lonely. And it's getting nice and sort of fluffy. I'm going to get all my liquid ingredients. Typical creaming method of mixing. You're going to alternate dry ingredients with wet ingredients, beginning and ending with the dry. So in a little while, we're going to add another egg. We're going to alternate 1/3 cup of flour and then 1/2 of these wet ingredients. All right, but we want them all incorporated. Okay? And I have preheated my oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, last egg in, join the party. So that was 4 large eggs. And once that is totally combined, I'm going to keep my electric mixer on hand. Remember, dry ingredients, wet ingredients, alternating. Low speed. I'm going to add 1/3, just eyeball it. You don't have to go crazy. Remember, you're building an emulsion. That's fat-based and liquid, fat-based and water-based ingredients. So we're just going to add about 1/3. If you add a little too much, nothing's going to happen. There's no creaming of method police that are going to come and get you. Don't worry. And then once this is incorporated, and you may want to stop your machine and just sort of scroll down around the bowl. You can see it's beautiful and creamy. Start up machine again. And we're going to add half on low speed these liquid ingredients. The pumpkin, the molasses, the vanilla. All right, so about half. Get that in there. And once that's in, we're going to add another third of our dry ingredients. And you're going to see your batter starting to look like a batter. And nice and pumpkin-y looking. These are nice and cakey, so I'm going to add 1/3. You're going to have 1/3 left because we're going to begin and end with the flour. And here you don't want to overmix. All right, so we have about 1/3 left. I'm going to add the rest. Get all that flour in there. We can do a final mix at the end. I do not want to overmix because I don't want to develop too much gluten, and I don't want a tough orange and white pumpkin cookie. I'm going to get the rest of my beautiful pumpkin-y mixture in here. Oh, it smells like pumpkin. It smells good. It smells good between the spices and the pumpkin. Yum, yum, yum. I'm going to get this out of the way. Now, last but not least, what's going to go in? My flour. The remainder of my flour. All right, we're going to get that in there. And then I don't want to overmix it, but I will hand mix it just to bring it together. So you're going to use your rubber spatula to push everything in. All right, give it one big mix, stop it. We're going to take our paddle out. And you can see the beautiful color of our batter is gorgeous. Now I will take my paddle out and clean it off. I have an ice cream scoop ready. You can use a tablespoon, like a heaping tablespoon. You can make these as big as you want. You're just going to have to make sure that they bake through because it is like a cake, like a free-form cake, almost like a black and white, right? So you want to make sure that you take I'm going to go around like I always tell you to do, go around the sides and around the bottom. Make sure all the pumpkin is distributed. If you see a streak or two, because I didn't want to overmix, I'm just going to go around the bend, get all that flour in there. I see it. I know you're pointing out that pumpkin in the back. I see it. I'm getting it. And these are going to make probably at least, depending on how big you make them, and I like to make them like a hefty tablespoon, at least a couple dozen, maybe up to 4 dozen. All right, so now I'm going to get my parchment covered sheet pan and my little, about a tablespoon, and I'm just going to scoop, okay, on there. Give them a couple inches so they stay away from each other and they don't create Siamese twins that are joined at the hip. It would be delicious, but it would be hard to frost because we're going to put great buttercream, orange and white buttercream on them. So I want to make sure these don't get too close together. And you're going to bake these off for between 13 and 15 minutes, and you want to put a little toothpick in them, and you want that toothpick to come out clean. So I'm going to keep scooping. You might need another sheet pan. I think we're going to need another sheet pan. And you're going to bake these off and let them cool. So my orange and white pumpkin cookies came out of the oven. I've let them cool. They are cakey and beautiful. And if you wanted to, you could actually put them together with any filling you wanted and serve them like a whoopie pie, but I want to do something a little more special with them. So I made my vanilla easiest buttercream ever, or my easiest vanilla buttercream ever. And I have a video on it, and I have a recipe on my website, chefgailsokol.com. So I have divided the frosting, and I have left half white, and I have dyed it orange, the other half. Now we're going to take 3 pastry bags. One of the pastry bags, I have a large star tip, all right? Because we're going to do like a swirl, like an orange and white swirl. So in each of the other 2 pastry bags, I have cut off the tips to make about a 1/2 inch opening. Don't go crazy figuring out how big the opening should be. It can be anything you want, but make it good size so it's about a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to put them, each one, in a bag. Not in a bag, in a tall glass, just to make it easier, because I am not an octopus, and I don't think anyone else is either, except an octopus. And we are going to fill each one of these pastry bags, one with white, one with orange. You don't want to fill them too high, so maybe about half full, and we have 2 twist ties. All right, so let me take one in here. All right. So you don't want to overdo, because a pastry bag that is overfilled never ends well. Trust me. And maybe some of you have experience with this. So you're going to pull it up and you're going to twist it. All right. Because you want to push from the top down. This just helps you along that edge that way. All right, so let me do my orange one for my next pastry bag. All right, so just let that, and you can do this with any color you want, but we're doing pumpkin, so we're in that harvesty, Halloweeny, Thanksgiving-y theme for the fall holidays, or whatever you want. All right, a little bit more. And now we're going to twist tie this as well. Okay, I might have filled the white one with a little bit more than the orange, so let me even them up. Twist tie, twist tie. And you don't want to push it all the way down yet to the bottom, because we're going to take each one of these and we're going to put it inside the one with the star tip. And when it comes out, it will be a swirl. All right, so I'm going to just gently push a little on one side. So lay it down so one side has the orange, one side I'm just going to gently push down has the white. And sometimes if you overfill your bags, this will happen. Let me just get some of the orange out. Hold on. I overfilled my bags. That's what Chef Gail does. I overfilled my bags. So some of them will be a little orange, but if you made them a little bit less, it'll be fine. But I'm just going to go with it, and I'm going to just do a swirl. All right? And then eventually you're going to see the white come out. And oh, here it comes. Beautiful. Yowzer. Yowzer. All right. And if you want, you could do like just little stars like that. Do anything you want. You do whatever you want and make them any way you want. Kids can do this too, because it keeps the frosting off their hands once you set it up for them. And then I would store these in the fridge just to let the buttercream get a little firmer. All right, just go around and do a little swirl. They're so pretty. Now, if you want, and you want to gild the lily, you can take a little orange sprinkles. Who says no to sprinkles? Nobody says no to sprinkles. And if you don't like sprinkles, you can always do colored sugar. So I have this beautiful black and orange sugar. Very pretty. Or sometimes you can do both. All right. And these are delicious because they're cakey, they are soft and creamy with the buttercream, and they're amazing. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep piping, and I'm going to keep decorating my beautiful orange and white pumpkin cookies, and then I'm going to be eating a lot of orange and white pumpkin cookies. So I hope you make this recipe. I hope you become a subscriber. Until next time.